In this video, we will show you how to replace your serpentine belt and serpentine belt tensioner on this 2009 Dodge Dakota. This will be located under the hood along the front of the engine. Let's get into it. The first thing we need to do to get started on this job is to lift the hood and have a peek at the serpentine belt itself. You'll notice that it goes over some pulleys and under others. Take note of the routing. Once you have, we'll continue on to the serpentine belt tensioner on the passenger side of the engine. To release tension from the belt, you're going to use a 15mm right on this center bolt here. You can either use a serpentine belt tool or a 15mm socket with a ratchet. Once you've released pressure, we'll continue on to grabbing onto that belt and gently pulling it off of the AC compressor pulley. Now we can remove our tool from the area. Now we can make our way down here. We're going to grab onto the belt and pull it off of the serpentine belt tensioner. We will fully remove this so we can replace it, but first let's continue on with the tensioner. We'll use a 13mm. Right inside this center hole is where you'll find the mounting bolt. Turn this counterclockwise to remove that mounting bolt. Remove the serpentine belt tensioner. Once you have the tensioner out of there, it's a good idea to make sure you clean and inspect the engine where the tensioner will mount. Okay friends, let's get ready to install our brand new serpentine belt tensioner. Before we put it over at the engine, I want to point out this area right here. That's important to note because if you were to look down at the engine, you're going to see a bolt head right in this area. That's exactly where that notch needs to be as we put this in place. Before putting it down into position, let's make sure we put our bolt through here. We'll put this down here, put the bolt in by hand a little bit so we know for sure it's not cross-threaded into the engine. Now that it's started by hand, we'll go ahead and snug this up. After it's bottomed out, you can torque it to 45 foot-pounds. Torque wrench down in here. Now we can fully remove the belt from the area. The next thing that you want to do is start comparing the new belt to your original belt. Look on the rib side. You want to make sure it has the exact same amount of ribs. The next thing you want to do is measure the length. To test the length, hold the belts like this. Next, we'll go ahead and come down along the bottom with our thumbs in between the belts, just like this, and make sure that they're approximately the same length. It's common for the original belt to be a little bit longer for the new one because they do stretch. Assuming it looks good, let's continue with our installation. Now it's time to install that serpentine belt. Let's take this and bring it down along the passenger side of the engine. We want to have both sides of the belt underneath the water pump pulley. That's the smooth pulley in the center here. We'll bring it up, essentially making a smiley face. Now let's take the bottom area of the belt and we're going to bring that directly underneath the crank, which is the lowest pulley on the engine. After you start putting it around there, we're going to come along the passenger side and we want to take the smooth side of the bottom belt here and put it around the tensioner pulley, the smooth one. Now as you're putting this on here, you want to be paying close attention to all of the grooves. We're going to continue on to the next pulley towards the passenger side on the tensioner. We'll put the grooves inside of each of these grooves. Make your way all the way up to the AC compressor. We'll continue on along the driver's side. At this point, we'll just grab that lower aspect of the belt and bring it up and around the power steering pump, and then continue up to the alternator, applying pressure. Let's use our 15mm serpentine belt tool. We'll turn this clockwise, grab onto that serpentine belt and slide it underneath the smooth water pump pulley. There we go. Once you feel as though you have it on there, it's important to make sure you check the belt on each one of the pulleys. You have the groove pulleys and you have the smooth pulleys. Make sure the belt is centered. If it isn't, just go ahead and use your serpentine belt tool Twist that clockwise and slide the belt into the proper positioning. Once you've given it the secondary check, hop inside the passenger compartment, start up the engine, let it run for approximately 5 seconds and turn it right back off. Make your way back out here and triple check the belt. Make sure it's sitting on all the grooves perfectly. Assuming that looks good, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.